Today on Do-It-Yourself Dad, how to get your pond ready for the springtime. Algae blooms don't have to be right around the corner if you take the proper steps in getting your pond ready for the spring and summer warmer water temperatures now before they hit. Today we're going to be going over how to go through all your systems to make sure everything's working and cleaning everything out to make sure you're getting proper water flow through your filters. Then we're going to talk about how to clean your pond out, and finally we're going to show you a quick, easy trick to prevent algae from growing in the first place. So sure enough, you can see here that the pump that feeds my waterfall was pretty clogged up with debris. So the first thing we're going to do is remove all the debris from the end of that pump and allow it to flow freely up into the waterfall again. At the top of the waterfall, I have a bog style filter. I actually have two filters running on this pond. I have the bog style filter, which is more of a biological filter, at the top of the waterfall, and then I also have a pressurized canister filter on the other end of the pond that has a UV filter incorporated into it. So after cleaning out this filter, we're going to move over to the other canister style filter and clean that out. This filter has mechanical filtration in it as well as UV filtration. So we're going to open up the filter and clean out the filter pads and then inspect the UV filter to make sure that the bulb is still working correctly. After ensuring that all of our mechanical filtration is working properly, we move our attention over to the waterfall. You'll notice that my waterfall has a lot of rocks in it, and in between those rocks, things have a tendency to get caught. I wind up with a lot of gunk, debris, fallen fruit, leaves, and things like that in the waterfall, and all that stuff will rot over time and feed the growth of algae. So we start away from the top, working our way down with the hose, getting in between all the cracks and crevices and mechanically moving things with our hands if it can't be loosened up with the hose. At this point, we're just trying to get everything washed down into the pond. We'll later take a net and try to scoop as much of the large debris out of the pond, and then the small debris will get caught in our skimmers and filters. Once all the debris has been washed down into the pond, we're going to grab a net and start scooping everything up. I usually start on the top first, getting anything floating before I work my way to the bottom. My process is usually starting from the top, getting all the large stuff off the top, and flinging it into a bucket. Once I have all that, I very slowly scrape the bottom. A lot of stuff tends to fall to the bottom. We don't want to disturb it. We want to try to get as much of it into the net as possible before we start churning stuff up into the water column. This process does take a lot of time because you can't really see what you're doing at the bottom of the pond. I just keep scraping until I'm coming up with not a lot of stuff. I repeat this process every couple of days. I'll go out and scoop the bottom and scoop the top as best I can until the water's good and churned up, and then I let it settle for about a day. Then I'll go back out and repeat the process again. Over the course of a couple days, you'll wind up getting very little or nothing as far as large debris in the net, and then I just let the filters take care of all the small stuff. Now that we've gotten all the junk out of the pond that can feed the growth of algae, we're going to prevent the growth of algae using these. These are barley bales. Barley bales get put in the water and decompose. When they decompose, they release an enzyme into the water that prevents the growth of algae. It won't actually kill algae that's already growing in your pond, but it will prevent the growth of more algae. So adding these to your pond early in the season will really help prevent algae growth over the course of your spring and summer months. Follow the directions on the bag for the correct dosage for your pond. You don't want to add too much, but you also don't want to add too little. The barley should be anchored to something that can sink to the bottom of your pond and placed in shallow water. Here I'm putting it close to my waterfall. It works best if it's in an area where water is moving around it. Because it requires decomposition to work, it will work better once the water starts to warm up, but it will start working at about 60 degrees, so it's a good idea to get them in there sooner than later. Getting everything in shape for the spring and summer months in your pond before the warm weather hits is really important to your pond's success over the summer. I've had a lot of summers where my pond was green all summer because I never took the time to get everything cleaned out and properly taken care of in the winter before the spring and summer months hit. Links to everything that we used today in the video, the barley bales, the filters, and everything else are down in the description below. If this video helped you out at all, please be sure to subscribe, give me a great big thumbs up, leave a comment, and find us on Facebook for more do-it-yourself tips, tricks, and how-tos.